Now, a lot of you, some of you, are not going to like this, but I feel pretty strongly about this. Yesterday in New York City, that's where the U.S. women's soccer team, yes, I said it, the U.S. women's soccer team had a ticker tape parade through the Canyon of Heroes to celebrate their World Cup win and to continue their absolutely epic rager. Now, I've seen plenty of teams win a championship or a title. I've seen plenty of teams celebrate a victory. Normally, it involves a bunch of champagne, maybe some beers, a few cigars, and then the parade. Recently, some teams have mixed in a trip to Vegas as well. But nothing compares to what these ladies are doing. Nothing. Now, if you know me, you know I'm all about the beautiful game. Always have been, always will be, love everything about it. You know this about me. However, I'm not sure I've ever seen anything better than this when it comes to the sport. I mean, this really is awesome. They win the title in France on Sunday with that 2-0 win over the Netherlands. And they did it with an absolutely clutch performance because the Dutch played out of their minds. They were unconscious in the first half. And for a long time, that match had the feeling of a game where one team is dominating, where it's one-sided, but they can't quite break through. Then the underdog scores on a break to take the lead, and suddenly it's a completely different game. But although it felt like that, that's not how that played out. Megan Rapinoe scored a penalty in the 61st minute, and Rose Lavelle capped it off with a goal 8 minutes later. And the moment they got back to the locker room, the party started. That party started in the locker room, and it has not stopped since. I mean, sure, at first, it had the typical post-game locker room tropes: champagne, beer, confetti, singing, we are the champions. But I'm telling you, not only has it not stopped since then, it's gone up about 50 notches since then. So let me be the first to say thank you very much, Ashlyn. Thank you for taking on the role as team videographer, because it has been a crazy ride, and this really is some of the best content ever. Now, I would play the videos from her Instagram page, but I'd probably get fired. There is definitely some NSFW content there. Suffice to say, it's been an epic bender that has covered 2 continents. They have been on planes, yachts, parade floats. They've celebrated at rooftop pools and in New York City's New York's City Hall, I should say. And it's been absolutely incredible. And you know what? It makes perfect sense. That team had so much pressure on it going into the tournament. Anything else less than repeating as champions would have been a colossal failure. They were under so much scrutiny, so much pressure for everything they did, everything they said, and yet they still came through. And they did it while suing their own federation for equal pay. I mean, can you imagine how different that lawsuit would have felt if they didn't win the World Cup? The legal reasoning behind it would have been exactly the same, but the public pressure behind it would have been a whole lot less. Anything short of winning was going to be a failure on so many different levels. And nobody came through better than Megan Rapinoe. Listen, I know Rapinoe is not everybody's cup of tea. Rapinoe knows she's not everybody's cup of tea. But even her biggest haters have to admit she's clutch. Clutch as hell. When the spotlight was on her, all she did was win the Golden Boot as the high scorer of that tournament, the Golden Ball for player of the tournament, and the World Cup for her team. And she did all that despite missing a game with that hamstring injury. So when you do the job, when you accomplish the mission, and the pressure is off, then the party's on and on and on. In fact, that party may never end. In fact, every time you think it's over, it's not. Every time you think that crew has completely celebrated out, they grab another bottle of Ace of Spades, they fire it right back up again. Living their best lives does not even come close to doing this justice. And honestly, they do deserve every second of it. They've earned it. They've got 4 stars on their shirts. They've got about 50 gallons of spilled champagne as well. And I've got no issue with it. In fact, I'm here for it. But again, not everybody digs this American team. In fact, some folks are pretty bent. They're bent that they want equal pay. You're probably not going to like this take either, if that's the way you feel, but I don't understand that. I mean, honestly, I can't believe we're even having this discussion. They are the 4-time world champions. They're legends. They should be paid like it. And as much as I respect the work that my guy Greg Berhalter has done since he's taken over the men's team, and I do, there's no denying that the women's team is way more accomplished than the men. All right, and for whatever reason, some of you still have an issue with equal pay, equal pay. How about this? According to audited financial statements from the U.S. Soccer Federation obtained by the Wall Street Journal, the ladies generate more revenue than the men. They generate higher TV ratings than the men. So, of course, they should be paid equally. And everybody should want to see that. It should have happened a long time ago. And when it does finally happen, there will be another epic parade and another epic party. And then you can run it all back once again. So, as always, thank you, bleeping, very much for all the bleeping amazing content.